Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eleanor and welcome to the next video in my series where I reread and relive my teen vampire obsession. The first book was Twilight. That was the Twilight Saga. That was the first series. After that, I don't rightly remember which series I read next. I do have all the CDs, I know I've read them all multiple times, but after Twilight I don't know the order, so I'm just choosing at random. So this video is going to be about the last vampire series by Christopher Pike. This is a 7-book series, and the first 3 are in 2-book volumes. So there's 7 books, and the first book is called The Last Vampire. Now this is a different kind of vampire book to Twilight, very different. I'll just read the blurb on the back, and before we go any further, I forgot to say this in my other video, but spoilers for this whole series, because I read the whole book so close together and it's only a vague memory. Definitely spoilers for the first book, but I might accidentally spoil the rest of the series as well, just because I don't remember what happens in what book. So if you are interested in reading this series, pick it up before you watch the rest of this video. And this first book was published in 1994, so it's actually a fairly old series, but I still loved them when I read them in this first book. I'll just read the wee blurb from the back. For 5,000 years, Alyssa Pern has been living among on-off humans. Alyssa hunts alone, thinking nobody knows her secret, but someone is stalking her. Someone wants her dead. I believe this first book is about a human, not in the know, who's a kind of detective, private detective, and I think he discovers something. He's been asked to investigate her by someone else. I think it's maybe another vampire who knows her. But this human doesn't know that, and he's been asked to investigate her, and yeah, she thinks her secret's in jeopardy. And then I think she goes on to fall in love and date the detective's son. Oh, it's been a very long time since I've read this series. I don't rightly remember. But I do remember really enjoying this series because it made the main protagonist, the vampire, really, really old. Like, she's 5,000 years old. So she's got this huge, huge history. And I liked how high stakes it is. Like, a lot of these books have the government, involve like helicopter crashes, and it was very big and very dramatic, whereas other series are usually a bit more low-key, if I can say that. I don't know. There was just a lot of action in this, and I just remember really liking that aspect of it. This first book is only 191 pages, so they're really short. It's only really the book 7 that's like its whole book by itself. It's not a volume edition. So yeah, I remember really liking this series, even though, again, I think I'll say this every single time, they are quite ludicrous, but you know, you have to dispel your disbelief because it's fantasy, urban fantasy about vampires. So yeah, and I think what I like most is just seeing how all these different authors' imagination writes a vampire, how they change it and how they make it unique to their story, how vampires are turned, how they drink blood, how they communicate, how if they've got powers. Like, I like how different authors portray that, and yeah, that's all I really remember. I do remember other aspects, but I know they're definitely not in this first one, so I won't say that. So yeah, so let's just dive right in. Already in the first 3 pages, we've had a lot of exposition. So the vampire, as she's known, Alyssa, it's not her real name, obviously. She just changes her name every couple of decades, as she says. And she's already described how vampires kind of work in this world. and that they can eat food and they have got a heartbeat and they do crave blood and they have regenerative powers. So this is a type of vampire who, in Twilight obviously their skin is impregnable, I can't even say that, their skin can't be penetrated and hurt that way, but in this world they can, through heart and blood, they just heal very quickly. So that's interesting to know how differently the vampires are in this book. And page 4, we meet the human detective that I did remember was in this book. Bodes well, we'll see what else I've remembered. So I've just finished chapter 2 and a lot's happened. So she's had her first full day at school, she's interacted with Ray, who is the detective's son that she just murdered, and she's trying to worm her way into a relationship with him, but he has a girlfriend. And he noticed that she's slightly odd and unusual. She's also now met Seymour, who seems to be able to read her quite well, and she mentions that in the past she's come across people like that who are able to read her deeply, and she feels like these two people are familiar to her. And then she also mentions her husband when she was human, Rama, that she still loves him and misses him, and it's been 5,000 years, and that Ray reminds her of her old, like her husband. And she makes mention of like religion and gods and stuff, and how that the first vampire was made by a demon called Yashka, was the first vampire, and it was a mistake, and how she's the last vampire because she's the last one alive, presumably. So yeah, so it's all go. I'm already on page 42. Lovely. I forgot how short these books were. Start of this chapter, she describes her history. Like, I quite like how, because she's so old, she adds snippets in. Like, she mentions that she saw Marie Antoinette being executed, and just little snippets. So she talks about how she and her people were the original Aryans, blonde and blue-eyed. They invaded India before there were calendars, and she was born in 3000 BC. And her name, at that point, her original name was Sita, and she was born in a small village in Rajasthan. Just talking about like her original village. The whole of chapter 3 is Sita explaining how the first vampire came to be, and it's really, I really love having that aspect in this story, because other vampire stories, you never get the true origin story, because vampires are around for so long, most of the time they don't know where they came from, or even like some other series, like the whole aim of the book is trying to find that origin and not quite knowing it. So 3 chapters in to be told that Sita watched a demon inhabit an unborn baby, and that unborn baby to be born and to be that first vampire, and to see how she was then changed into a vampire. It's just really fascinating. I love that that's pushed into this book, and that believed in the gods. So she was believing in Lord Vishnu, and she was praying, and the devil overtook the body and stuff like that. It's just so fascinating how the author's chosen to show that and depict that. So her and Ray, the son of the detective, have broken into the father's office to check his files. He doesn't know his dad's dead yet, he just thinks he's missing. And Sita steals all the files off the computer and finds out that a Mr. Slum is investigating her, and she's not told Ray any of this, so Ray's just a bit confused. And she's contacted this Mr. Slum by fax to meet him alone at the end of a pier. It's funny, obviously, because this is written in 1995, so she's still using fax and discs to copy memory things. It's dating it, but it's still quite fun. I forgot how gory this story. Very violent. Very detailed in the descriptions of the violence and the attack and killing people. It's very gory, but I like that kind of thing. So she's finally found out that the main person behind looking for her is this first vampire, Yashka. So she's not the last vampire at all. The first vampire is still around, and he's the one that sent these people to kidnap her. So yeah, page 110, chapter 7. It's ramping up. It's happening quite quickly because obviously it is a really short book, so I've only got like 80 pages left, and I'll have read the whole first book. So let's see what happens. It's just been revealed that Annie French has made Seymour is like sensitive to the supernatural, and that he's been having dreams about Sita and her past, things like that. Yeah, I'd forgotten that he was like more involved, So she's phoned him to get him to collect her after killing all those people and escaping. Yeah, I can't quite remember what happens. I think she goes now to meet Yashka, the first vampire, and they have like a confrontation type thing. Not quite sure I remember. So I've just finished chapter 9, and it was another flashback to Sita's early past. She said she'd been on the earth for 70 years, so she's not long been a vampire. And it's interesting, it really focuses on Hinduism and the religion aspects of that. Like, she believes in Lord Vishnu, and she's met who the person who says he's Krishna. So I'm going to be butchering how to say these. Krishna, who is like one of the human embodiments of God in Hinduism, and him and the first vampire, Yashka, have a battle with flutes and snakes, and the winner gets to obey the will of the other. Yashka loses, and Krishna orders Yashka to kill all the vampires, and he has words to say to Sita. And it's interesting, I really don't know much of anything about Hinduism, so I don't know how accurate these parts of the story are. Obviously they've been certain licenses taken to twist it to fit the vampire narrative in the story, but I don't know in general how accurate this depiction of Hinduism is. But I do like that it's showing a different religion. Obviously there's many books out there that include other religions. I haven't read many of them, but it's nice just to see, it's not always about perhaps Christianity or something else. There's a different religion involved. And I like how the way Sita is as a person, is she wants to obey this Krishna because he tells her not to create any other vampires. And this little bit at the end of this chapter really caught my eye. It's like talking about Yashka, the first vampire who turned her. He said, "He was my lord, as Krishna was my lord. I served both masters, light and darkness, both of which I had seen in Krishna's eyes. Even the devil does God's will. I never made another vampire, but I never stopped killing." So it's like a bit on balance, like she's wanting to trust her God, her Lord, but she's still not a good person. And I like that the book doesn't try to hide that. So, just interesting. And done. Finished. It's a really short book in the grand scheme of things, 191 pages. And yeah, full of drama. Literally the whole of this book happens in like 4 or 5 days. No, a space of 2 days. I think 2 days, 2 or 3 days. So yeah, it's filled with the usual insta-love. And yeah, I won't talk about the actual ultimate end. I'll leave that just in case you are still interested in reading it. It is good fun. I do like the aspects of the history, so I like the flashbacks when she's talking about her past, especially, as I said before, the linking in of Hinduism and that culture, and about how she was blessed by Krishna, and that if she made another vampire she wouldn't be blessed, but where there's love there is his grace. So there's a bit of a loophole there, and I do like how it's all weaved together. The insta-love is quite ridiculous, because she meets this boy Ray after she kills his detective dad, and then sees in him something of her husband from 5,000 years previous, and they instantly like fall in love and die for each other. Like, yeah, it's, you have to put outside your disbelief at that. But if you're not too fussed about that and that doesn't bother you, I know some people are really put off with that kind of instant kind of connection. Yeah, it's a fun story. It's interesting. It's different. And I did love this series. I loved all 7 of these books, and they do get more ridiculous. So the first one is about this first vampire coming back to kill her, and yeah, they do just get more ridiculous. And I don't know if I'm remembering this right, but one of the later books has aliens in it, I think, and she goes back in time and she alters the timeline and things like that. I think if I'm remembering that correctly, which just sounds mad. But yeah, these were just a good bit of fun, and I do know they get more ridiculous. There's lots more. I think there's like CIA, FBI involvement, there's secret labs, crazy people who are into alchemy, lots of violence and murder and guns and knives, and pretty brutal. But it's good fun. I enjoyed this reread. It's been a very long time since I've read this series, and yeah, I wouldn't discount it, even though it was written in the early 90s. I still think it holds up, if you're willing to look through some of the silly tropes. It's just a bit different, and as I said, the books are really short, so why not give it a go? Got all of the books here. So yeah, so I had good fun reading that. It was a bit different talking about it because I feel like everyone knows Twilight, so it was easier to kind of make comments about it, but I don't know if many people would have actually read this series. So I feel like it was a bit harder to make comments on it because I'm having to explain the story as well. So we'll see. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe because I will be continuing this series on. I've got many more vampire books to reread. So thank you for putting up with this very long video, and I'll see you soon. Bye.